Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. It is our big, special, spectacular pay-per-view, and it is the end of the second full year in this save for me, which for one of my saves is quite distant. I book a lot of shows but somehow don't get very far, but 2-year anniversary, we started basically right after All Out in this save. So I only have one show previously to go from, which was last year's 91 rated show in Arlington, Texas, where we got 46,321 in attendance. Match of the night was Andrade winning the TNT Championship from Sammy Guevara. Our main event was a triple threat between Adam Cole, Hangman Adam Page, and CM Punk, so not too bad in the main event. What I've realised from the card tonight is that the show, the roster is stacked, probably too stacked. I've probably been guilty where a lot of WWE contracts came up around about this time. So it's a weird position I'm in because obviously I've signed all the ones I wanted to bring in, the ones that I enjoy in real life. Even some of the older guys, but at the same time they're going to be here to put people over eventually, but you can't have them in straight losing. They've got to, build momentum, get wins and then go from there, because some of them are going to be here not just for their popularity but also if they've got a good psychology stat, they can work with their opponents and help them gather that stat and get them better in the long run. You'll probably see over the next couple of months a few instances of hot potato of a few things, and I do have one big announcement regarding what I'm going to be booking going forward, but I'll leave that in the capable hands of the matchmaker of AEW, Mick Foley, and also Daria Beranato. So this pay-per-view is very unrealistic. There is a chance of a 100 rated match and a 100 rated show because we have All Out in the main event. I've took a massive swerve because your opening contest at AEW All Out is for the AEW World Championship. Straight on the line, Eddie Kingston defends against the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, at like 57. So without further ado, we have a legendary band, we have some A-list celebrities, shame to hire them, and $2 million has been spent on a special set. Every bit of money on that because we're just going to keep making money now as AEW. So sit back, relax, watch how unrealistic my saves are, and then realise that the star power that didn't even make the card, which is quite frankly scary. Here we go. All Out. So in front of 67,781 fans at the Alamodome. 5 hours worth of content, so it's basically 371 of 375 minutes have been fulfilled, 24 segments. And I opted to start the show with, I usually do in-ring stuff where it's a hype to get the 100, but here we're just going to have like the usual vignette of start of an event. We'll document the feuds between Danielson and Black and what their opinions are, Hangman and Lesnar, Michaels and Kingston, and Kerry and Cody. Add into this as well, you could have added the Sammy Guevara Adam Cole thing, which is frighteningly just a real grudge match, but at the end of the day, Sammy won't do any content with Adam Cole bar the match, so the quicker we get them away from each other, they can progress their careers, although bad Sammy stealing Adam Cole's bird. And of course, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So these guys have the promos, they're all unscripted, you just let them say what they want. It gathers a 93, but that is just 4 of the marquee matches that you're going to witness tonight. And as I say, we went straight in for the World Championship match, and it's actually overachieved. The reason I say it's overachieved, I trialled it on a Dynamite to give Shawn Michaels a chance of becoming #1 contender, and it only got a 79. But limiting the match to 10 minutes, exceptional matchup. Shawn Michaels defeats Eddie Kingston in 10:43 by pinfall with sweet chin music. Meaning, in 2023, your AEW World Champion is Shawn Michaels. I know it sounds mental, crazy, but trust me, it's going to lead to something really, really good. HBK's stamina is obviously nowhere near where it should be, hence the match only goes for 10 minutes. But new champ, time for some hot potato. And can I just say as well, Eddie Kingston bringing a 90 performance. Fair play, sir. Fair play. Great opener. With Shawn celebrating the ring. Simple, effective, gets the crowd delighted. Good feel good moment. 86. Move along then to a matchup between another experienced old-timer and one of our up-and-comers, one of our best prospects, if not an already made man. MJF just says he's going to destroy Rey Mysterio. He's fed up with all the fanfare that carries alongside Rey Mysterio, and that gathered a 79, which is very poor for MJF, strangely. I don't know how much of that was on the popularity of Mysterio, but these two had an exceptional matchup. MJF defeating Rey Mysterio in 14:01 with a Swanton Bomb. 82 from Mysterio and 90 from MJF. Of course, we're going to put the younger guy over in this instance. And the good thing is, 85, again, limited match, only 14 minutes and 1 second, but the lack of psychology probably hampered this from maybe hitting an 87 or an 88, but maybe I've been too into the idea that a long match gets a good rating when I could easily be doing it with 10-minute matches. 10, 15-minute matches, sorry. So maybe it's something I can look at going forward. I'm all about learning as a booker as well, so that's one thing to keep in mind, but Rey Mysterio does the job for Maxwell Jacob Friedman. We have another good matchup. In a superb matchup, we had Drew Galloway defeat Jon Moxley in 2040 with the Claymore kick. There we go with the 20-minute mark. 83 here. Now this one was an instance of, since we acquired Drew Galloway, his overness was not quite at the level that we wanted it to be at. It was a bit low. Moxley, again, an already made man, so he makes Drew Galloway a man here. And it was good to see as well, this way Drew off his game, so possibly we could have saw that one into that 85 bracket again, but it just shows and highlights the standard, the calibre of performer that we have on our roster. We then move into the Women's Championship match, and it was a superb matchup with Io Shirai defeating Charlotte, because she would be Charlotte Flair in WWE, so we'll keep her as Charlotte, in 27-12 with a German suplex hold. It's the 11th defence of the Women's World title for Io Shirai. 83. A lot of the stuff they've been doing has mostly been on the Power Hour, which is the women's exclusive show, but I really wanted to put just keep having Io having matches for the championship, get the prestige on it, and hopefully it'll go above the prestige of the TBS championship. So Toni Storm, who obviously is our champion, not defending it tonight, but more on that later. Her belt is actually more prestigious than this, so we're just going to keep putting constant bangers. But an 83 is up there with one of our best rated women's matches, and hopefully if we can get Charlotte to maybe Io's level, as in both in the mid-80s, that could propel even higher. But she's one of the best wrestlers, if not the best women's wrestlers on the roster. She's got to get pushed to the moon, as Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee would say. And after the matchup, she's very disappointed in Charlotte, but she bumps into new AEW recruit Bayley Rose. So 65, Bayley will also be a heel here. We've obviously meshed our two names together, of course, Davina Rose and Bayley. And yeah, I've already stole all 4 of the horsewomen, so that gives you an idea of my viewpoint on them. 4 of them are really good. And yeah, we've basically got the best women's division in the world because we've practically ransacked WWE's. Next up, we had some great wrestling and good heat. Jeff Cobb defeated Pac in 2004 with the Tour of the Islands, a third defence of the TNT title for Jeff Cobb. At 77, Pac's actually doing a good push. I just need him to get a bit more over, but don't really want him having the TNT Championship. I felt this was a good matchup to give him, and it gives Cobb another big victory over a very, very capable opponent. So yeah, just giving a bit more prestige to the TNT Championship. Moving along, I had a fatal 4-way match that could see potential championship contention decided here, and we had a decent matchup that saw the Briscoes defeat Proud and Powerful, FTR, and Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong in 14-16, when Jay Briscoe pinned Bobby Fish with a Dre Driller. At 71, pretty happy with that one. Again, we're still trying to get the Briscoes established to a national audience. Santana and Ortiz are over. FTR are FTR, they're just fantastic, and Roddy and Bobby are pretty damn good in their own right. But at 71, Briscoes picking up the victory. Then the promo from our not too long term baby faces, Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen, and they are getting pissed off at, of course, Team Taz, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. But they know that the two of them are trying to make a name off him, but Kevin Steen says they just won't make a name of his expense. But 82, both guys are pretty decent in a promo, and the match itself was also an 82, so that's good to see. Obviously Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn will have a tag team bonus, but they really brought it with some really, really good performances, in a good matchup. We saw Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks pick up the win in 1804 when Hobbs pinned Sammy with a frog splash. I had Ricky Starks go over Kevin Steen on a recent episode of Rampage, so I felt like this was a good result here, but it's really just building up Team Taz to get them closer to that next level. 82, solid. A lot of people really bringing their game, has to be said. We then had a bout that had great wrestling and good heat as the Young Bucks defeated Ace and Christian Cage in 13:38 when Matt Jackson pinned Christian Cage with the Meltzer driver, meaning we have new tag team champions in the form of the Young Bucks. An 82 year, 3 really good performances, and that's with Nick off his game. Christian's obviously had a lot of poor defeats, so he's a good bit off the overness of Ace. But I felt like here, a good opportunity to get the belts on the Young Bucks. I know there was a lot of programs I wanted to do with Ace and Christian and tag teams, but I have that much of a stacked tag division that we've given them their kind of like respect the legend reign with the belt, but they don't need the tag belts to be a stellar tag team here. And the Young Bucks can just continue to put on banger after banger with a lot of good things upcoming in our tag division. We then had a matchup for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. I put it on Kyle O'Reilly, and in a decent matchup, Kyle O'Reilly defeated Miro in 12:05 with a brainbuster. 7th defence, he said defences on AEW television, he said defences with New Japan, which is quite cool that they've signed him and had him defend the belt, so he's just going to get better and better. This was always a plan. Unfortunately, Miro get a bit of it's one of those injuries you can work through, and I think this would have been a banger, but unfortunately the injury stops it from getting to the next level. So a 76 is pretty decent regardless, but I think that would have banged to about an 82 as well. I mean, pretty cool shit. We then had a matchup that was exceptional, and had Hangman defeat Brock Lesnar in 9:35 with a buckshot lariat. I don't know how you book that in real life, because I think it would be quite unrealistic, Hangman beating Lesnar, especially in 9 minutes. But there's a lot of factors for this. In 81 is the rating. Both of them don't have the psychology start at a high enough level for where it needs to be to flow the match. But I still feel it was going to be a massive matchup for Hangman to have. And as I say, that could have easily been in the 90s if one of these had a bit of psychology. But again, Brock's not going to be around forever. He has stamina issues in the game, so you've got to put your talents over first and foremost. And we've already had them lose to Darby Allin as well. We had a good matchup here. Richard Holiday defeats Prince Devitt in 14:18 with the 2008 with 77. 83 performance from Devitt, 63 from Holiday. Simple. We literally have half our main event scene are more than happy to do a promise to put Richard Holiday over. Devitt was first, and there's going to be plenty more people doing it. He's going to be one of the future stones of this company, whether we like it or not. Now we get ready for the Texas Death Match, a proper grudge match here, as Adam Cole says he's pissed off at all the stuff that Sammy Guevara has caused in his personal life in the last year or so, when he took the love of his life, Britt Baker, away from him, and all he's going to do is just inflict so much pain on Sammy Guevara and make sure that he gets all that in his rear view mirror and he can go back towards heading for the AEW World Championship. 77. Match itself was superb. Sammy Guevara defeats Adam Cole in a Texas Death Match in 36:51 when Adam Cole was pinned after a 6:30 from Sammy Guevara. He couldn't beat a 10 count, and this was after a distraction from Britt Baker. So 82, Sammy wins the big blow-off grudge match thanks to Britt's interference. Both guys get an 84. Both guys took a crazy bump, so hopefully no injuries here. And yeah, that'll be them. We'll keep them as far away from each other as we can. But a very long Texas Death Match. Sammy's inconsistency and stamina being negatives. Phew, no injuries. And after the matchup, we basically see Adam Cole being stretchered out after he's lost, and Sammy Guevara just basically mocking him and saying the future's bright for Sammy Guevara and he's only going to get better and better. We had an over-the-top entrance for Cody. He came out looking excellent, only got a 64 because of the lack of anything interesting that was happening. I felt that was a realistic thing to put in. Like, a lot of people have normal entrances. Cody always goes over the top, and everybody's just like, why? So I thought, you know what, even though I'm going to get that penalty, that makes sense. So yeah, Cody v Kenny next. Battle of the Elite. And that actually brings out one of our best ratings we've ever had in the save. I think it's in there in the top 4, top 5. Exceptional matchup. Kenny Omega defeats Cody Rhodes in 33-28 with a one-winged angel. So Cody just can't get to that top level. Still not the top dog. And Kenny Omega shows that he is still the best bout machine. We then had a good matchup that had Shinsuke Nakamura and CM Punk. Shinsuke's a footballer. And about that had fantastic heat and great wrestling. CM Punk defeated Nakamura in 13-24 with a GTS 85. So obviously they've had back and forth previously, DQ wins, etc, etc, through Jonah's interference. Nakamura is not probably going to get to the main event because he again has stamina issues like others, but still a fantastic name and someone that will be able to carry good 10 to 15 minute matches. Punk probably will end up declining that way, but he'll always have the promo skills to keep him up there. So solid win for Punk. But Nakamura, still an impressive performance. Finally, we head towards our main event, so we'll hand it over to our matchmakers, Mick Foley and Dario Arnato, who are shown hanging out. But it's basically their instance to let you know what I'm going to be booking. You'll see some of these things on videos, some of the stuff I'll maybe just review it on pay-per-views, but it's basically where I'm going with my TV show, etc. So they confirmed that on Dynamite we will have a Face of the Revolution ladder match. The winner will face Shawn Michaels for the World Championship at the Arthur Ashe show, or the Dynamite anniversary, whichever comes first. Both of them are like week to week, back to back, but it's announced both of them are going to be specials. We are going to have a tournament, a G1 tournament, but for tag teams, which is going to be the Brody Lee Cup. I've decided to change it from trios to duos as a respect to Brody and Eric Redbeard, so I felt like we'll go with that. So all our tag teams will face each other over many shows and some events. When the final will be, possibly the November event. I'll see how quickly I can get all these matches booked in. We're going to have a tournament knockout, which will feature for the TNT Championship. The winner will face Jeff Cobb. We'll also have a trios tournament and Crown Trios Championships. And is there any other tournaments I was thinking of earlier on? I was basically brainstorming at work and all these came to my mind. But all these kind of events. And there's going to be one more event. I don't know when I'm going to pencil it in, but I'm going to book a AEW All Day event. A 24-hour show in-game. So there'll be some 60-minute matches for sure, but I think I've got the roster that can pull it off quite considerably. We'll probably even see some big matches in our women's division as well. I think I might go big with Dynamite as well, and I'll probably have Riho, Ruby Soho, somebody else, and Tony Storm for the TBS Championship. So whilst we can't see it because it's a TV episode, and I'll just be booking that off video, stacked things, as it's basically a reset for the new season. It's time for your main event. If I was Mark Henry, let's go. 92. It was about that. It's about wrestling, great heat, and Tyler Black picks up the victory over Bryan Danielson in 39-41 with a curb stomp. And that's with Bryan off his game. Oh my god, do you think a Bryan and Kenny match could get 100 now? Both baby faces, god damn it, I'd love to try it. But 92, it's obviously get Tyler Black to that level. That's incredible. Well, I just had a bad day, Bryan, but I'm still going to bring a 92 performance and 92 rated matchup. Incredible. So to finish the show, Tyler Black gets his comeuppance on Bryan Danielson. The heel is tall, but we just witnessed an absolutely blockbuster of a matchup. Oh, we could have got a 100 rated show, which I think would have been my second one. I think my first one was basically that an old WCW mod that I think it was Gary had done before he'd left the business, it seems. But yeah, that's a good position to be in, that we're getting 98s, knowing that now every show can get every boost because the money's there for the company. You've seen a lot of things here, and that's only scratching the surface. Our roster is that deep, but some really, really good bangers there. Maybe could have got that 100 if we had the promo that gets 100, so that's maybe something I'm going to need to be stronger, because there's a lot of matches back to back rather than promos. But looking forward to, say, booking going forward. As I say, a lot of big matches, even on this Dynamite coming up, that are going to be spectacular. So I'm going to we'll obviously jump back to the main screen here, because I want to check the actual schedule, because that'll give us a better idea of what's coming up, what we're going to book. But I may as well give a spoiler. The Shawn Michaels reign isn't going to be long. So whoever wins this 6-way ladder match is obviously going to become champion. But for that, you'll need to wait to the next episode, that's for sure. It's a hell of a lot more AI signings than I expected, although it is obviously going into a new month, because I usually book events on a Saturday, but in this instance we have went with the Sunday. Did we go head to head with SummerSlam? No, we went head to head with Payback. Well, that's weird. But we'll have a wee look here, because quite a few things have happened. So, Bobby Roode and James Storm and Beer Money are in the Impact Hall of Fame. Bobby Roode is in the Impact Hall of Fame. He's also going to become an All Elite Wrestling road agent, because he's retired. We finished our run with Fight, with TSN as well. Basically, all our shows are going to be in our AEW Plus. We make that much money from it, then we'll just run with that. WWE have finished a few runs with J Sports. All Out was absolute success. That could be a contender for Show of the Year, which would be nice to win. So she's now signed. She just looked really, really promising. Like, the stats were really, really good. I don't know too much about her on that Sumi Maki, I'll be honest. That's on me. I don't watch Joshi wrestling. Bad enough trying to keep up with American. But stats look good. So yeah, got her in the development factory. And we'll see how she develops going forward. If she is good and really good in real life, then I apologise for my lack of education on that. But you can see here a lot of the deals with TV companies have ran out, so you see a lot of ends run. That's just the way the mod had them lined up. Of course, the mod being the Real World Chronicles. And WWE signed more women because they've now picked up Nicole Savoy. They've pinched a few from me that I've kind of went, you know what, you can have them. Have we got? Oh, we've got Paige coming in as well. Let's have a look here. So we stole Bailey. We've stole Dakota Kai. She's signing. Extended a deal with the Wee Man, which I find interesting. We've signed Liv Morgan as well. But they've signed Navia. We've signed Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon's effectively doing the Dan Lambert role at the moment. But like I said, Quinn McKay is in. Alley Cat is in. Genocide. It's just been, they brought back CJ Perry, so I'm like, alright, okay, if that's what you want to do, go for it. I mean, I can't have everyone's wrestler, I can't have every wrestler on the planet with AEW, but I'm certainly making a good effort at that with 209. But there's a few people who are waiting to debut. Jimmy, I'm waiting to Jay's available, I just want to do solos. The Guns will obviously debut when I can find them in. Mustafa Ali, Jonathan Gresham. Danhausen, we know that Nikki Storm was signed purely because of overness. Liv, Evie will change her name. Rascals have signed. Christian Casanova, Taya Valkyrie, so many people. Samoa Joe. In New Japan, we'll let Naito go, so I'm like, we'll bring Naito in. And then obviously, like the Page. Mercedes Martinez, and she's there in real life as well. And you can completely tell that I was watching Lucha Underground because we've got Luis Fernandez Gil, who'll have a name change as well. WWE were letting Nixon Newell go, similar to real life, so we're bringing her in. And my roster is going to get bloated, but we're letting someone go. Machine Gun. So we're saying everybody. A lot of people. may have arrived in the building. So Frankie Monet is in. I think Mika Satomura is gone completely. She's just working with Sendai Girls. It's one woman I just let her do what she was doing. Elena Black is in the Development Factory. We pinched her back. Machine Gun we know about, we're just going to let him go. Obviously we know about Nasumi Maki. Crazy Mary Dobson, I think I'm just going to let go to WWE, or go back to WWE. Rush signed for New Japan. They just offered them far more than I was willing to, and I didn't have too much planned for them. Millie McKenzie, did we sign her? Yep, we've got her in developmental, because I say we've got that much money, we can just waste it on everybody. So obviously Paige is in. Hira Kawato we've actually signed from New Japan, he's in developmental. Naito is here. Wesley, did we sign Joe Gacy as well? Oh my god, I've literally signed everybody for developmental. If you thought it's 200 wrestlers in the main roster, by the way, the developmental was even bigger. What amazing there. So obviously a lot of people's contracts expired a month ago, so they just missed the pay-per-view. And there's just everybody joining in from NXT, to AEW, to TDF. That's a lot of people. This is going to be a cluster trying to pick all this, but anyway. 759,000, 1.15 pay-per-view buy rates. I probably should change pay-per-view provider. It's mad that, our best shows are not, our biggest shows are not on the grand scale that we are with the AEW network, where I should probably just put every show on that rather than pay-per-view. But try and keep it a bit realistic. And Madison Yule says Ortiz has a lot of upside. That's probably the most I've ever had in terms of news items at once. All Ego resigns, as does Ashley Vox. 1 year handshake deal. And there's more people we're bringing in. Well, Jeff's contract's expiring, so we're bringing him in. Water. Crazy Mary, we actually have in developmental, so we're looking to extend. We're actually going to extend the contracts of Shotzi, me, and Jordan Oliver. We have them on the books. Is that like Impact are letting him go? Check something which I found weird. So, going to bring him in, even though he does not have a great relationship in game with his ex being Ruby Soho. But I still feel, again, age, potential, we can certainly turn him into something. So, All Out. Oh, actually was our best ever show. Because we put all the boosts in, that allowed us to smash our best rating by 4, which is good. And the matchup between Kenny and Cody, it was a top 4 match, and it was actually a joint highest rating. So, Kenny is featured in 3 of the 4, and Bryan has featured in 2 of the 4. And what you'll find very interesting is, obviously a lot of these matches are quite recently, but both of them had a stellar banging match with Sammy Guevara in July. It's almost, if that kind of lit a fuse and went, we should maybe push him a bit further. But you can see a lot of bangers in there, everything a lot more recently. You wonder as well, the matches that were good in 2022, if we had them now in 2023, how much they would, they'd be even more over. So really, really lots of exciting stuff on the pipeline. It's crazy, isn't it? But it's like 2023, sensational. 2022, sensational. 2021, still building the company up and finding my feet. So you can see, if you ever are unsure how long it takes, it's never straight off the bat. You always have to take a bit of time before you start racking up the good shows. And even at that, a lot of that stuff is the tail end of 2022. So practically getting by that first year. Is there anything else I can quickly showcase? Matches, the tendencies, obviously the free-for-all series. The industry's in a bit of a decline at the moment, so the fact we got a 6th place with that is pretty good. And you can see All Out there down as a 1.51, but that's only all the pay-per-views I've done. Everything else is an event. So I think I'm going to stick to that method of just having the big 4 as pay-per-views still, even though the TV ratings for Fyter Fest and all are going to get far better ratings, but we'll make our money through that as well. I think that'll be the first month where we've lost a lot. Yep, because every other month we usually just filtered it into media. This month we didn't because everything's maxed out. And we still made 34 million, so if we're making that a month, sailing. Brilliant. So, the last thing that we will look at, actually I'll show you developmental. Well, I thought it was a lot bigger than that. Well, to be fair, does that include people that have punted to Impact? I would believe so, and I would hope so. But there's a lot of people in there that are just like people that have come for the Nightmare Factory and all, you can have just said auto assign pictures, so I'll be intrigued to see how they develop going forward. Just in case anybody really wants to see how big the roster is. It goes on for a long, long time. Is that everybody? I believe so. So, coming up in the not too distant future, so Grand Slam is the show from Arthur Ashe, that's September the 4th week, and then we've got the Dynamite Anniversary show, which is the first week of October. So I think because there's a 6-week build, in fact it's actually 6 weeks between the anniversary show and then 5 weeks between Full Gear and Winter is Coming, so we'll probably have the 24-hour show in that gap between Full Gear and Winter is Coming, maybe like the first week of December. But at least that gives me a lot of ideas that I can work with going into Grand Slam and the anniversary show. Grand Slam, even though it is going to be a smaller capacity, being an Arthur Ashe, we'll still make it a pay-per-view like show, even though it is going to be on AEW Plus, as will the anniversary special. So thanks for watching. We're getting closer. I will get a 100 rated show and a 100 rated match on a modern day database, and hopefully you'll be here to join it with me. So take it easy. Thanks as always for tuning in. Just remember, 42 active registers are all you need, and I've got 209. See you soon. Bye bye.